So what's going on with this, like, gang thing? Because, like, literally, I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm a mom. Some of my friends are moms, too. And it's gotten so bad to the point we don't even want to take our kids to the park without being in a group. And even in a group, we have to make sure that someone has a taser. We have some type of, like, pepper spray. We have to have some type of protection. Me, I don't mess with guns. That's just personally me, because guns, they scare me. So it's just like, I don't know. We need to figure out something, because, like, I'm not gonna lie, this is terrifying. And I understand they're coming here for a better life, but at the same time, is this life getting any better when you're bringing what was there here? I don't know. We need to figure something out, because literally me and my son are too scared to even go to a playground, and that's not right.
Welcome back to the Life Scope channel. On your way in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's appreciated as always. I just want to say thank you to those who have donated via Cash App. It is very much appreciated. And hopefully in the future, I could do some things where I come on live and we can get into doing some giveaways. I think that would be really nice and a really good time. So I'm gonna talk a little more on how I can go about doing something like that, maybe get some ideas of what you all would actually like as a giveaway. Just kind of keep in mind, keep that budget small now. This ain't no big budget thing, but it's just something to say thank you for being a subscriber, because you would have to be a subscriber in order to participate. But we'll talk about that in another video. So today I want to talk about the trending topic that's going on in Aurora, Colorado. I'm going to play this video with the mayor, and let me just cue this, and then we are going to get into it. So check this out.
I get to our top story of the morning. So this is brand new video obtained here at Fox 31. This is at an apartment complex in Aurora showing men with long guns and pistols in their hands. This is at an apartment building, and a pretty concerning video that is now going viral on social media. National news is picking this up, but we've been following this locally for weeks and we have questions.
City council members and people living in the area claim this is part of a gang takeover in several parts of the city. Those claims now getting national attention. So we wanted to go right to the mayor. Mayor Mike Kaufman joins us live via Zoom this morning to talk more about this situation. First of all, thank you for taking some time out. I know you're dealing with a lot. When you see this video, what do you think? Because
And just right there before the mayor gets started, me looking at this video, I've seen this video on X, and yeah, it looks like what people are saying. This is a Venezuelan gang takeover. You have five guys going into this one apartment or about to go into this one apartment. Four of them have handguns. One of them has a rifle. The other one is on a cell phone. So either they live there or they're able to come and go. Maybe a migrant who is nonviolent and not with it. Maybe they actually are the ones who hold the lease to that apartment, and the Venezuelan gang members are just able to just take over that person's apartment. So, right off the top, just from the look of it, and people are saying this is what's going on, yeah, I can believe it.
I don't live in Aurora, but I think to myself, holy cow, if I lived in Aurora, I'd be freaking out right now.
Well, it's let me put it in context first. This concern that it's 3 apartment complexes, but that's not to minimize it at all. But we're, the 51st largest city in America, over 400,000 in population, and so, but there are 3 apartment complexes that we believe in where there is a concentration of Venezuelan migrants, and the criminality is unfortunately followed, so we have a task force with local, state, and our federal law enforcement partners working on it to root these criminals out and get them off the streets.
So I only thought that there were two apartment complexes, the one that's being condemned and the one that you see on the screen. That's the only ones that I thought the Venezuelan gangs were taking over. But the mayor just confirmed that it's actually three apartment complexes. And to me, that seems really serious. And I'm sure they're probably taking it serious if they have an investigating task force and some type of law enforcement that's just trying to identify these individuals. But they all have hats on, they all have hoods on. So you can't see their faces. People will have to probably step up and identify them. And that's going to be a hard job if they're shaking down people or intimidating them and they got weapons. So that is going to be a real hard job to arrest them. And also, since the people, the Romero family that stayed across from them, have their camera footage, they probably put on those hoods and those hats to avoid being seen on camera like that or to not be identified.
But it certainly concerns me. But it is with in three apartment complexes.
Now, you and I talked about this issue of apartment complexes, migrant gangs. We talked about this at length last week. And I did ask you if you knew about armed people going around and intimidating people at these complexes. And you said you did know that this was happening to the apartment building owners, and to an extent that we knew it was happening to people who lived there. But my question is, when did you first see this video, and when did you know it was to the extent that we're seeing in this video?
Well, we've known. Well, I think I put out a couple of weeks ago that we had formed the task force. We knew at that time that we had formed the law enforcement task force to root them out. That there was intimidation going on, and part of that intimidation certainly involves individuals with weapons.
Mr. Mayor, why Aurora? I've got people from across the country sending me messages. What's going on, Aurora? Why are these gangs in Aurora? Do we know why they came here? Why they seem to be taking over some spots in our city?
So I'm trying to trace it back right now. I can tell you, some things that are unconfirmed that I believe are true. I think we know that these gang elements are attracted to concentrations of Venezuelan migrants. That's unfortunately, there's a lot of criminality in Venezuela. It's basically a failed state. The role of the police department there is to protect the government. It's not to protect the people. And so, unfortunately, some of these criminal elements have come up with the migrants. My understanding that Venezuela does not share criminal histories with the United States, and so it's very difficult to vet them at the border. Yet they've been allowed to come in anyway. People can cross the border illegally, be arrested, and then receive humanitarian parole.
Okay, so let me just stop right there. So if you are paying attention, you heard, just like I did, the Venezuelan government does not care about the criminals or doesn't even care about its people, and it only cares about itself. And it doesn't share with America the criminal class information of who's a criminal. They literally are just essentially, their people are like, look, I'm gone. And Venezuela's like, okay, see ya. Don't care. So, and I think I also saw, while I'm thinking about this, I think I also remember seeing somewhere, I don't know what article or if this was on some type of video, where you can't even deport these people back to Venezuela. Like Venezuela are not accepting their people back. So that's literally them unloading their criminal class. Everybody that comes from Venezuela is not a criminal, but they are blending in with the migrants that are coming over, and there's no way to vet who's who. In my opinion, if there's no way to vet who's who, then they don't need to intermingle with American citizens or even be put up somewhere. Like it's unfair to you got a neighborhood that probably didn't really have any crime, maybe something here and there, and then suddenly it's an uptick from all they see is migrants. They don't know which ones are doing or not doing. From afar, it's just safe to say it's migrants. So that's really unfair. And then these people, like I said, the Romeros who this video footage is from, they had to move out. They literally had to move out and get out of there. And I saw a video where they were showing they got about 5 locks on their doors, and they have to lock it when they taking trash out and lock it when they go to sleep. They got one of those, I don't know what you call it, like those door stoppers that you put up against your door so it cannot get kicked in the middle of the night. Like that is really stressful. That causes a lot of anxiety just to know right in front, across from where you live, they got guns, they got weapons, they have taken over, and you're sleeping. That will, I wouldn't be able to kind of sleep well. I don't know about you. I wouldn't be able to sleep well, and then I would probably have to end up breaking the lease and try my best to move out. So let's continue.
uh, to apply. They've applied for political asylum until their cases can be adjudicated. It's a terrible combination where they come into the country. They don't have access to a work permit for 6 months. They don't have resources. I think what happened, and again, I'm trying to trace this back, is that what happened is we had, you know, several. We have some buildings that unfortunately are pretty run down, have a high vacancy rate or relatively low rent. And I think somebody placed them there. Is it an agency of the federal government, perhaps using some of our local nonprofit partners here as a conduit? Because the city of Aurora took a position early on that we were not going to participate in the migrant crisis. We were not going to provide taxpayer support, and we were not even going to be a conduit for federal dollars to come in to provide assistance. This is not our problem. This is a problem created by the federal government at the border with bad policy. And
And that's even more crazy because if that's the case, Aurora is not a sanctuary city. But you know who is a sanctuary city? Denver, Colorado. I read in an article that Denver, Colorado has allowed 40,000 migrants to enter its state as of December 2022. So if the mayor is saying Aurora didn't want no parts of that, they don't even want your money that you would get in order to, I guess, house and feed or whatever it is for the migrants. They didn't want any part of that. And yet, I don't know how close Denver and Aurora is from each other, but yet and still, they are getting migrants in large numbers by default.
so it's the federal government that needs to solve this problem, not the city of Aurora. But
now,
somehow we've gotten this problem. We inherited this problem involuntarily, and so I'm trying to walk it back and say, I believe that these people just didn't go there on their own. I think somebody put them there, and I'm trying to find out right now. And I have a meeting with a leader really understands these nonprofit organizations that provide assistance. Um, who provided this assistance? Who made this decision to put them there?
Every month, this
Uh-oh. Hang on these commercials I was talking about. Let me mute this. YouTube, no, they wrong with these commercials.
On the city of Aurora.
Assistants who made this decision to put them there.
The national spotlight right now is on the city of Aurora. I asked you this same question last week as a yes or no answer. I'd like you to elaborate today. Is Aurora a safe place?
Absolutely. I think, you're talking about a city of well over 400,000 people, 51st largest city in America. And this is a very isolated problem. We have other isolated problems that we're trying to deal with. And I, as certainly the mayor, I don't believe you surrender any part of this city to a criminal element, whether it's sections of Aurora to, prostitution and drug dealing, or it's these criminal elements from this Venezuelan criminal elements that are preying upon their own people, but in doing so have taken over several apartment complexes. So if we have to, and I hope we don't, I hope we can move these people out without pushing everybody out of the entire apartment building. But I'll tell you, as somebody who was in counterinsurgency warfare in Iraq with the Marine Corps, you have an enemy population you have an enemy that is inside a population that is intimidated by them. And so the challenge is getting people to cooperate to identify them, or using film footage to identify them, get them out. What I look forward to is updates from our police department and from our other law enforcement partners that are working on this to say what progress that we're making in these isolated areas, in these pockets, in terms of dealing with what I consider as an enemy force.
So the mayor you just heard said that he is a former, or yeah, he is a former Marine. I was going to say current, but he's a former Marine, and this is an enemy within type of situation. So it's going to be, I don't want to say interesting, but it's going to be something to see how they are going to handle this. And that literally has the other states, all of us that do not stay in Colorado, looking and watching to see what actions are they going to take, because that will determine maybe if this spreads. Hopefully it's just an isolated incident, but if it does spread to other states, what will be the best way in order to handle that situation and get the people that are deemed to be enemies within out? Now, like I said, I saw somewhere where Venezuela doesn't want people deported back. I don't know how they can actually stop that. I'm not sure if they can, but if they don't want people deported back, then what are you going to do with that criminal element? Because they shouldn't stay. That's just my opinion. They should go back home. But would they have them serve time in jail first before doing so? I don't know. So that's why this is making national news, and it is something to watch. So let me just finish up with this, see if he's going to say anything else.
If Fed policies, as you say, were to blame for a lot of this, do you try to make the White House pay for what you guys are trying to do right now to deal with this?
Well, I think I want to get the answers first. I believe that, well, first of all, the problem is at the border. I mean, if you could walk across, people can walk. We have, Venezuela, unfortunately, is a failed state under a socialist dictator, and people are leaving. I think about a third of the population has left, and so I think a lot of them are great people, but unlike immigration that we've had in the past in our Venezuelan community that has been here, where they had sponsors, where they had family members, where they came, they had resources, they were educated. I mean, here we're getting people that just poured over the border where they came they typically you walk across illegally, you get arrested, you declare political asylum, you're given humanitarian parole until your case can be adjudicated, which could take months, years, before those cases are adjudicated. In the meantime, again, you have a situation, and this is separate from the criminality, but I want to say that it creates it's a broader problem than the gangs, that you have people that are here without resources that can't apply for a work permit until they're here for 6 months. I mean, desperate people do desperate things. So my concern is certainly beyond this immediate gang issue, but that is the most serious issue before us right now, and we are confronting it head on. And we will, we're going to get it done.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I would have to agree with the mayor on this is a direct result from what's happening at the border because you have people coming over and they're arrested, but they could sit out for 6 months to years before being able to get a job or maybe some type of ID. They have to be adjudicated, as he put it. So during that time, well, what do you do for food? What do you do for money to pay for things? You essentially came over here to just be homeless in America, and that can cause a bigger issue. And this with the gangs taking over apartment complexes. I know maybe some of you have seen Amazon workers that some people were saying were Venezuelan, but it could be any. This is just for any Amazon worker, not necessarily any migrant. But there's been an uptick with people who are having things delivered, and you kind of just have to watch out because they are trying to bum rush, or they will bum rush your house, or they will try to steal your packages. So you have to watch out for that as well. And on top of that, let me just throw this in. What happened over in California where there were 20 migrants that were trying to get on a elementary an elementary school bus. And this is two different school buses that travel along the same route. They were trying to get onto these school buses, and there were 20 migrants. So it terrified the parents because it's like, what are you trying to do with these kids? Are you trying to kidnap them, hijack this bus? What's going on there? So that's in California. This is in Colorado. I'm not saying it is a big issue. There's always been crime here in America. But it's standing out more to me, especially since this is an election season. So, this issue I feel like is going to make or break who is going to be the president because this has to be resolved. Like, people are literally tired of seeing this type of behavior, especially when American citizens are not able to reap benefits that they hear migrants are getting. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are getting, but you've heard the same thing I've heard. You're getting no down payment needed for housing or down payment assistance, like all these different types of programs that all of us as American citizens would love to have, and it's not being extended to the American people. Now, there are, in all fairness, there are programs that you can look into for different things, but we don't know how long that's going to take. So it seems like they are being fast tracked and given debit cards with cash to just fill up your refrigerator for a few months or to pay your rent for about a year or two. Like, I would love to have my house paid for a solid year or two and just literally not have to worry about that. I don't know about y'all, but I would love that. That would save so much money. But this is what we're facing. This is what's going on. So I feel like a lot of eyes are going to be on Aurora, especially since he said they weren't trying to participate in being um, a city that welcomes migrants. And yet they have this situation.
So this is a problem that's coming to a head right now, and you say that there are steps to make it better. Is it going to get worse before it gets better?
No, I don't think it's going to get worse before it gets better. I mean, the fact is that we have dedicated a lot of resources towards this, as has we are working with the federal government as well from a law enforcement standpoint, as well as with some of our state partners. Focused on these isolated areas. To identify the criminal element, get them off the street, and so that's the objective right now, and we're going to accomplish that.
Mayor Mike Coffin, Mayor of Aurora, thank you for taking time. I mean, the worst thing we can do is not talk about this, so we appreciate you joining.
Okay, so that was it on that interview. I would definitely love to hear your thoughts or your views on this particular situation because it is, I mean, it's serious, whether you want to get into it or not. So that's it on the interview. The mayor pretty much summed it up on what he think it is. He think the federal government literally placed those people there because his city doesn't participate in being a sanctuary city where they want to even entertain the fact of having migrants in the city. So how did they get so many migrants to develop a criminal class and to take over apartment complexes? So, like I said, that makes it even so much worse. I mean, it's one thing if you're in a sanctuary city. I mean, you took your chances. That's what it is. But you don't want it, and yet you got it, and now he wants the federal government after he finds out that's what it is through his investigating, he wants them to help solve this issue. So I hope that you all enjoyed this reaction to the mayor of Aurora, Colorado. Hope you all got caught up a little bit on what's going on. So let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and support the channel. Until next time, bye.